So the question is, what does Senator Clinton's visit to the Valley mean as we approach Ohio's primary in less than 3 weeks? Well, we're asking Hiram College professor and First News contributor Jason Johnson. He joins us this morning with some insight. Good morning, Jason. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Great to be here.
All right, so let's get right to it, Jason. What does this visit mean and how important is it for Hillary?
Well, it's extremely important. The Clinton campaign has lost about 8 races in a row, and they've lost by huge amounts to Barack Obama. So what Hillary Clinton really needs to do right now is focus on what she believes is one of her strengths, which is the economy. Speaking at the GM plant, speaking to a lot of blue-collar workers, the firewall for the Clinton campaign has to be Texas and has to be Ohio. She doesn't have to just win here. She has to win big.
That's right. It's certainly important, of course, talking about that. You know, let's talk about the recent poll numbers. I mean, she had a pretty rough couple of days. Potomac primary is not in her favor. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, what's been happening lately is Barack Obama has been racking up huge wins, whereas Hillary Clinton's wins haven't been that big. Outside of New York, which was her home state, in Tennessee, Hillary Clinton doesn't have that many 15 to 20-point victories, but Barack Obama has now won 21 states to Hillary Clinton's 10. About 6 or 7 of those states he won by 20 points or more. He beat her by a large amount in Virginia, a large amount in Washington, D.C., a huge amount in Maryland. And so right now, Hillary Clinton is thinking she not only has to win in Ohio. The current poll numbers put her up at about 16, but there's only been one statewide poll to come out so far. It's been speculated that if Hillary Clinton wins Texas and wins Ohio, but by only 9 to 10% of the vote, she won't be gaining enough to really end up winning the nomination. So spending a lot of time here is one of the key things she wants to do over the next 3 weeks.
What do you think she's going to say this morning?
Well, I think one of the things that Hillary Clinton is consistently focused on is that she's ready on day one. She feels that she's got experience with the economy. She feels that she's got experience with blue and working class workers. The problem is that pitch hasn't really been working lately. And so I think what's also happened is earlier this week, the Clinton campaign lost 2 major campaign managers after losing not only the weekend primary, but the Potomac primaries that we had earlier this week. And so there's been some speculation that she'll maybe change her rhetoric, attempt to be a bit more optimistic, a bit more hopeful, sort of taking a page away from Barack Obama, who's been beating her. So I would expect a mixture of the economy, a mixture of some positive and optimistic things about where she thinks she can take the economy, in the hopes of eking into some of Barack Obama's victories lately.
All right. Well, of course, this is not open to the public, today's event. Do you think that will hurt or have any kind of impact?
Well, I think it helps Hillary Clinton from this standpoint. Whenever you're speaking to working class employees, there's a good chance that they may be a little quiet. They may not be all that impressed with what it is that you have to say. Barack Obama actually spoke last week about talking about clean energy policy at a plant in Michigan last year, and people were very quiet. They didn't like to hear what he had to say, but he felt it was an important campaign stop. There's a chance that there's going to be some anti-Hillary people in the GM plant, and Hillary hopes that she can either just win them over quietly, or if it doesn't go too well, that too much of the press and the public aren't there to see her possibly fail.
All right, Jason, we're almost out of time, but you know, there is a lot of talk that this is not going to be the last stop, that both Hillary and Obama will be making several stops to our area. What do you think, and what do you think we should expect?
Well, some of my inside sources in the Clinton campaign told me that Chelsea actually got into town on Tuesday. She flew into Columbus. Hillary came into Columbus. They were doing college visits in Dayton and Cincinnati and Ohio State, and they're going to be hanging around this area for probably the next 2 or 3 days. There'll be some quiet fundraising. There'll be opportunities to meet with Stephanie Tubbs Jones, who of course is Hillary Clinton's campaign manager for the area. Barack Obama this weekend is actually spending time in Wisconsin. That's a tough race, but he feels that he's about 6 or 7 points ahead in most recent polls. So he'll probably be arriving in full force starting next week in preparation for the major debate that he and Hillary are going to have in Cleveland.
All right. Well, Jason Johnson from Hiram College, we always appreciate your feedback and getting your input on this. Certainly a very interesting race, and we'll just have to, I guess, stay tuned and continue to follow this. Jason, thanks so much for being here. And of course, we will have our live continuing coverage this morning of Hillary Clinton's visit to the General Motors plant this morning. She's expected to make that stop sometime after 9 o'clock. Of course, we will have all of the coverage throughout the day.